Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan. And I already see that I'm being asked in the chat, did I lose power on Tuesday? And the answer is no. Because it's one of those paradoxes. It's like Schrodinger's cat, except it's Schrodinger's power outage. Although I think that's the wrong paradox. Because if I'd live streamed, I would have lost power. After all, didn't you see Action Retro's X post? Not to be confused with X post facto. Yeah, that probably wasn't that great. Anyways. Alright, I think we've got better people in the chat than my jokes sometimes. We have Scarlet the Four-Eyed Cuda. We have Sadmac. We have Jack68K. Jack68K was having chat issues. I hope the chat issues go away. If not, let me know and I'll learn not to change dates on streams, because maybe that was the problem. We have Frank S. We have Francois. We have K-Mac Vintage. We have Jesse I8386SX. Yes, I'm late as usual. No, that's just in time. We have Gut Bomb. We have Kibbs with Retro. We have Thomas Armstrong. Hope you're caffeinated. We have 2K Compliant. Yes, welcome. We have RetroMac UK. Hi, Martin. We have Adam McGee. Yes, hello, nerds. We have Retro Tech or Die. Be sure to check out Retro January. We have Starbuck Tech. And yes, we have the reminder to don't forget to smash that like button, but don't smash your monitor while doing so. I do not care, Windows, about Xbox Year in Review. Alright, I'm sure Windows is going to continue to bug me about that. And we have, yes, so let's see here, channel announcements. Alright. I'm not going to spoil the results just yet in case you haven't seen it. However, Tech Ambrosia released the Cheap PC Challenge results video yesterday. So go check that out. Maybe one of my mods will put a link in the chat. Go check that out after the stream. I don't know, go open it in a separate tab and add it to your watch later list. Go check that out. It was a great video. Congratulations to everyone that participated. I don't want to spoil it much past that. I'm sure someone's going to mention in the chat at some point. So, yeah, let's see here. Oh, I've got a new Ko-fi goal. It's slightly more specific than my last goal. There is an HP Logic Analyzer that I saw on Facebook Marketplace. It's been listed for a couple weeks, which could mean it's sold. It might also mean that it's been waiting for me to make an offer on it. So if you'd like to help me get some cool toy like that, then go check out the Ko-fi link in the description. Yes, thank you, Gut Bomb. Yes, it was a good video. Also, let's see here. Jesse's going to play the challenge for this year. Yeah, Jack says Windows likes you to pay attention to it. Yes. Yes, thank you, Gut Bomb, for linking the video. Go add that to your watch later. It's a great video. There were some great builds. I mean, even the... Sorry, I'm hearing a voice. Okay, I don't know what I'm hearing. Oh, I know what I'm hearing. It's not a voice. It's the my heater behind me. The oscillating gears are making a weird noise as it oscillates. Yes, there were some great builds. There were some, even the disqualified builds were interesting. Is even a technicality. So go check that out. Sad Max says Facebook Marketplace, possibly the second place. Justin buys things he later regrets. Well, this HP Logic Analyzer, it is pictured as obviously running the software. It has the pods. They want $120 for it. Considering how far I'll have to drive, I'm tempted to offer him 80, and maybe we'll settle for $100. Jack's asking, is there a ghost in your heater? Maybe. Just maybe. Is it an Emerson heater? No. It's a Utilitech heater. So, for those of you that shop at the Blue Box store, you've probably seen Utilitech. I think it's their cheapo brand. I'd probably have to shop at Walmart to get the Emerson heater. So what do I have on the table? I know, among other junk, I'm sure Jesse will recognize this package here. It arrived Tuesday, and I had to restrain myself. Hey! Thank you, KMac Vintage. Yes, all right. Yeah, that'll go a good ways to getting that Logic Analyzer. So, yes, I am looking forward to have a cool toy like that. Especially one if it's got the discs and the pods, especially the pods. So, I mean, it's not a high-end Logic Analyzer, but it'd be good enough for, like, probably even some lower-end 386s. So, that's actually pretty decent. So, anyways, so I had to restrain myself from opening this, Jesse. Yeah, Will says, let's help him get this cool toy, folks. Yes. Speaking of cool toys, I do not know what's in here. I had to restrain myself from opening this early, because I told Jesse I'd open it on stream tonight. And I have, oh, all right. I've got a month's supply of padded envelopes. Yes, thank you, Jesse, for practical packaging that I can reuse. All right, so I have to send you something small that goes in a padded envelope. Oh, thank you, Martin and Jack. All right, all right. I am on my way to making an offer on that Logic Analyzer, and I will keep my calendar open on Saturday, and hopefully I can go get it. Wow. Yeah, it's padded envelope. So thanks, Jesse, for using reusable packaging material. I will put those padded envelopes to good use. Oh, and I've got bubble wrap too. Yes, I always reuse packing material that arrives in good condition. I even reuse haha. All right. And I have a Maxtor 821600. It's an 82160D2 hard drive. I believe that is a 2.1 gigabyte hard drive. All right. Hey, thank you, David Starbuck. All right. And with that, wow. Thank you, everyone. I have hit my goal in 14 minutes. All right. All right. Yes, I will, that's great. Yeah, I set the goal at the asking price, so, if we go over by a few bucks, that'll cover my gas money, because it's, over on the north, it's, a town, is it a town? Yeah, I think it's a town on the north side of Richmond, so. Alright, let's see what else I got in here. Oh, that's right, and a A Zip 250. All right. Yes, that's right. And it's even in a drive adapter. So thank you, Jesse. Yes. Oh, okay. Jesse says that's a 2 gigabyte from his live stream. And then the Zip 250. So actually, the Zip 250 I'm going to. So this Zip 250 is for my Power Mac G3 desktop. Obviously, the drive bay adapter I'll put in a PC, but the zip drive is for my G3 desktop because that's the computer that I needed a zip drive for. And then this Mac Store is, well, it's a 2 gigabyte Mac Store. So yes, oh, it's got an IBM. This was pulled out of an IBM. So I may, yeah, I'll use this for something. So yeah, I do hope I can get that logic analyzer. In fact, I'll even if I don't, if I'm not able to get that one, I may have a backup plan. Let's see. Jesse says, I think the Zip 250 was the sole thing that survived in that PC chip system. Oh, that almost makes me want to, all right, I guess while I'm opening packages here. Okay, so I don't remember what's in this PCB order. This is not a sponsored PCB order, although I didn't block my address, so I'm going to open it off camera, or going to open the flap off camera. This is not a sponsored order, but I was using credit that was on my account to buy it. Oh, that's right. This is probably one of the more controversial boards I've ordered, but I ordered the GoTech to Apple adapter boards because I was curious. So, well, you could probably look for this more towards Marcintosh. So I went ahead and ordered the boards because I was curious. I know there's some disagreement in the community whether or not this is actually useful, and I decided I wanted to try it for myself. I've got mixed feelings about it, but I thought I would try it for myself. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Oh, Jesse says, I take that back. The CD burner did too, but the rest of that system went to the recycling the following morning. Yes, so, yes. I know other people have presented their opinions. I'm going to determine how I feel about this project. Although I do already have my first complaint in that Flash Floppy does not support this adapter. But maybe Flash Floppy might get support for this adapter, maybe? Because right now you have to pay for the HXC firmware to get support for this, so, But anyways, that is, there's actually I've got another PCBs on order, and I think that was, I forget what they are. They've shipped, but they haven't arrived yet. Oh, and actually, yeah, this, yeah, probably is evident where this came from. This is like one of the last things I bought in December before I put myself on my self-imposed retro parts moratorium that I may have already broken for a few small things, but anyways, yeah, I think I bought these like the very end of December, and it was so late in the month that they didn't actually ship until January 2nd, but so I got this from Dasher Deals, so this probably won't be as big of a regret as it could have been, because Dasher Deals did say that while I couldn't test these, I guarantee them. So what did I get from Dasher Deals? Yeah, get ready for the eBay regrets. I mean, it still could be a regret, but there's a seller Dasher deals, and they've like put a whole bunch of stuff on auction, and one of these items they couldn't test, but you'll see why when I pull it out. So, all right. I have a 3-COM network card. This should be an Etherlink 2 or an Etherlink 3. It has a ROM socket. 3C509. All right. We have you may notice a trend here. Although don't assume the trend is going to go as long as you think it might. We have more Latmus bread. I mean, another 3-COM Etherlink 3. Oh, this one's got an AAUI port. All right, but it's got a ROM socket on it. Oh no, you know my MAC address now. Frank S. says, mini mail regret call. Yes, this came from eBay, yes. All right, and I might as well open this up. All right, let me move the box off the bench. All right, and this might be a spoiler for Monday or next Tuesday's live stream. Oh, thank you, Dave. Buy more stuff. All right. Oh, all right. I will definitely put that to good use, Dave. I actually need a I actually need to order a part for the item I'm about to reveal that is so embarrassed right now that it got shipped in a black poly bag. So does anyone want to guess in the chat what this might be? Oh wait, I think I already started to spoil it. I'll give you a clue. It's it didn't come from the ABC store. Also, I think my description on the next week's live stream might be slightly wrong. Someone was saying PC chips. All right. Well, that's probably enough to give it away, so I might as well reveal it. I think this might actually be PC chips. All right, let's zoom in. And I should probably take a photo of it and update my thumbnail for next week. But we have one of the, yes, Francois, it's a motherboard, yes. Ew. Jack says, ew. Gut Bomb says, ABC, already been chewed. I have a motherboard. It is missing a few components. It is missing the processor, obviously. It is missing the oscillator, which will be annoying. And it's missing this chip here. But fortunately, I know that's the keyboard controller because Dasher Deals was kind enough to, openly disclose in the description that it was missing the keyboard controller and the oscillator. Therefore, they couldn't test it, but still guaranteed. So luckily, I've got keyboard controllers. Hopefully, they're compatible. The only thing I don't have is the right oscillator. Thanks, Dave. Jack says, if you squint, it kind of looks like an SE30. Okay. Francois says 386, 486 at least. Kib says chips. Put some salsa on it. Francois says missing a VLB plug. Okay, there is something very important about these motherboards, and if you've seen the Big Bad Biologist's streams, this is actually just like one of the boards that he tried to add a slot here and burned out something on the motherboard, because this is actually not a Visa local bus slot. This is actually a proprietary expansion slot. So this is not Visa Local Bus. So I know there is no use that I even try to put the connector here. It's not Visa Local Bus. I will just burn out the motherboard. However, this is exactly, I think this is like the board he was trying to work on, because this is one of those boards that will take a 386 or a 486. So if you have the 386, you can put the 387 here in the inner pins. And if you have the 486, then you'll need a DX to have a math coprocessor. So, oh yeah. Sadmax says, I'd have guessed floppy or IDE, but in a weird spot. Oh, it's like a proprietary 32-bit expansion. I think it flopped so badly that these boards got shipped without that expansion connector. Yeah, there are actually several 32-bit expansion cards that look like they're Visa Local Bus, but they're actually not. But anyways, so this is the board for Tuesday's live stream. I don't know if I'm going to get a 66 megahertz oscillator in time, but I'll start with what I have. But I'll get the oscillator on order. So anyways, this is actually going to upgrade. So I've had that PC Chips motherboard for a while for my 386 system. Well, this is going to be the upgrade for it. I'm going to replace it with this board. So now I've got a board where I can use 386 or 486. What you can put in the CPU slots is breaking. Jack says, what you can put in the CPU slots is breaking my brain. Yeah. Oh, and actually it does look like this system might have originally shipped with a 386DX40. And maybe that's 128K cache. Is that right? Yes, I believe that's 128K of cache. Because those are W24, 65. Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, those are 64K chips. Or they're 8K. No. Those are 8K chips. 830. Oh, must be 64. 128 must be something else. Or someone. Maybe those are. Maybe that is 128K cache and I'm just misreading them. Huh. Okay, but the one. Anyways, yeah. Oh, and it uses an external battery, which is why there's no corroded former Varda spot on the board. So yeah, this board is hopefully just going to work. Anyways, Tuesday's live stream. Yeah, and it's yeah, I don't think it's an Opti local bus because it's not an Opti chipset. It's probably UMC. It was probably for UMC's proprietary 32-bit expansion, which probably flopped harder than the Opti local bus. So, anyways, it's fine if I just have 16-bit slots. This is at least better than the PC chips board that I have. And it lets me have a board where I can compare 386s and 486s, and the chipset's the same. How cool is that? All right, so you can look for that Tuesday. I got another box of goodies somewhere, but, well, I don't know. Oh, no, I didn't set it there. I don't know where I set it in the basement. I've got another board. You could probably look for a video at some point where I'm going to do a quick video on the potential what if. Because one reason why my cheap PC challenge video was so late is that I had actually bought one more motherboard and processor on eBay. And it was going to be a long shot to arrive in time. And unfortunately, it did not arrive in time. It did arrive, but not in time for the video, because it, arrived sometime, last week. But yeah, I'm going to at least doing a what if video on what if that board had arrived in time. And actually, I was kind of hoping I might see where I set the box because the internet likes teasers, but I don't know where I set the box. Oh, never mind. I see where I set the box. I'm not going to go get it right now. But yep, now the oh, Yep Bomb says click this link seriously. It's already on my watch list, Gut Bomb. It's a Mad Dog sound card in box. The box is like epic. I am going to okay. Their shipping price is absolutely dreadful. I am going to probably reach out to them before I bid and ask if they could please double check the shipping cost because that should not cost $17 to ship from Georgia by quote standard shipping. But I do so want to bid on that because the box is absolutely epic. It may actually that may be very similar to the Mad Dog sound card I already have, but I want that box because it is like epic. So yeah, I've already got that on my watch list. All right, yes, the dreaded clone card is back. And what's today's activity? Well, socketing the rest of the chips. At some point I am going to socket the rest of the chips, and as I remove them, if they're compatible with my tester, which the USB cable's too short to actually show it completely on stream. Yeah, I've got like 99 3/4 of it. Oh, maybe I can stretch it. There we go. Yeah, it's got that obnoxious bright blue LED. Yeah, definitely know when it's on. But anyways, I'm going to test these chips. One of these has got to be bad. Maybe the bad one is a chip that's in one of these tubes here. Or stashed away somewhere else. But yeah. And then maybe if I get all these chips desoldered and tested and still can't find the problem. Because actually I did... Kibbs is asking. Oh, Adam says I can just mail you an Apple disc controller. All right, Adam. Yeah, go ahead and send me one. Although I'm still gonna, like, even out of curiosity, see if I can figure out what's dead on it. But yeah, if you want to send me a disc controller, that'd be great. Did I locate my sockets or did I have to buy more? They sockets are currently in my Jamco cart, which I was going to check out tomorrow. So yeah, I cannot. The sockets I thought I had, I don't think I have. So I've got a small cart with Jamco. For sockets, let's see here. What was in my Jamco cart? I think I got sockets. I got like $20 or $30 in sockets on the order just because it was like, okay, I am tired of not having the right size socket. So of all these sockets they sell, which ones could I conceivably use? And I'm just going to order 10 of each. Conveniently, that's also a way to meet their minimum order quantity fairly quickly. Here we go. I can log in. Because actually, that way, if I realize there's anything I need tonight, I can just go ahead and add it to the cart. Yeah, I got like sockets and more sockets and... Oh, that's right. I got some oscillators, oscillator grab bag or two. Oh, yeah, I've got a soldering kit. It's like one that they just started selling, so you can look for that fun sometime. Oh. Yeah. Anyways, there we go. Got the Jamco card up. Adam McGee says, I want to know why it took them 18 chips to replicate the Apple 8-chip card. K-Mac Vintage says $30. My last socket order, $172. Actually, it might be more than $30 in sockets. Oh, wait, maybe it's not. Hmm. Okay, it's a little more than 30 bucks in sockets. But yeah, I've got 8-pin sockets. I got 6-pin sockets. I got 18-pin sockets. I got 14-pin sockets. I got 32-pin sockets because I had those in my cart for some reason already. I got 28-pin dual wide sockets. I got 40-pin wide sockets. And I got 24-pin wide sockets. In fact, I think that's pretty much every conceivable socket except 20 pins. But I think that's because I forgot to add 20-pin sockets to the cart. Hold, please. Well, I'll go ahead and do that now before I just order this thing without thinking about it tomorrow and then realizing that I forgot to put 20-pin sockets on the order. Let's see here. These are interconnects. We have IC sockets. We have dip solder tail. We have dip 20. We have, there we go, 20-pin, low profile. I knew there was something I forgot. There we go, 20-pin sockets. So if anyone heard me rattle off the size sockets and Adam says, did you know I have a Jamco branded disc 2 card? I think I did. I think I saw that. You posted that on something. So if anyone realizes there's a size of socket I forgot, you can let me know in the chat. I think that's pretty much all the popular ones. I'm sure I'll identify something at some point. Hey, Gut Bomb. Dak says, one time I got some off-brand sockets from Amazon because they would ship next day and they were the, yeah, yeah. They were the biggest piece of crap ever. Never again, yeah. There are some things I've just stopped ordering on Amazon, and sockets are one, and EPROMs are another. Gut Bomb says there's a sealed Mad Dog sound card for $13 plus $8 shipping. That one may also be on my watch list, but if you put the link in the chat, I'll make sure it's on my watch list. Jack says, gotta love those Amazon brands that are made up by a random word generator and all sell the same stuff at different prices. Yeah. Hey, Rudy. Oh. Let's see. It would help if I turn the smart switch on. That will let me actually do work. Ooh. All right. Let's see here. All right. Claris is warming up. While we are waiting for Claris to warm up, let's see. Jesse says Amazon is trying to be Temu or AliExpress. That's his theory. Yeah, it seems like that at some point. No, I did not see the sealed one. I like how they blacked out the UPC. Oh, I think that's because the UPC was removed for a rebate. Oh, yeah, that's very cool. All right. While I'm waiting for Claris to warm up, let me go ahead and let's see here. Let me go ahead and get one of the components I need on order because it probably won't be here by Tuesday, even if I order it now, because it's coming from Canada. Long story, but let me go ahead and order it because who knows? Maybe they'll shove it in a first class envelope or something. It's like the cheapest place to buy a part I need is Canada. All right. Let's see here. And ta-da. All right, let's see here. Claris is warmed up. And there we go. The part I need is on order. Oh. Oh, there we go. And oh no, one bit had to one bit had to re-upload his video and destroyed my comment in the process. Oh well. All right, good night, Frank. All right, Claris is warmed up. We can get some components off this board and solve the mystery, maybe. At least figure out what's dead on it. Rudy says that card won't work without an Apple II computer. Well, I've got an Apple II I can test it in, but first, I need to find the chip that's preventing it from writing disks. And so, last live stream, I removed the 3 chips that I thought were, according to the Franklin service manual, would have been the ones that they would have indicated if this was the Franklin disk controller, which looks identical to this MicroSci one. And that didn't fix it. David Starbucks says that. Hey, David, those Mad Dog cards look like the cheap stuff sold at all the 1990s computer shows we went to back in the day. Except I think they were sold at some retail store. Oh yeah, Gut Bomb saw the graphics card. I think I got my eye on that one too. Oh yeah, I've got my eye on that one. I was torn about that one because I wasn't sure which graphics card that one was. Because there's actually a couple. Although that one's got DVI on it. And the seller sent me an offer. They actually sent me an offer a couple hours ago. Okay, I want to figure out which NVIDIA chips on that one. Because they sent me an offer on it. Actually, a pretty compelling offer. So, oh, that's right. I was going to quickly peek at the service manual. Because I'm just going to, basically, I'm going to start desoldering chips in a somewhat intelligent order. And my screen is, I have an obstructed view of the screen. There we go. Let's see here. Okay, so cannot format destination disk. That's not it. Oh wait, that actually is it. Okay. So I think last time I followed their suggestion of Gravel not right. They said that it was probably this chip here at U6. Actually, the component designation is the same. And U10. Those 2 chips tested fine in the chip tester. I also pulled U11 and tested it. because that was one of the his U10 and U11 were what they said to check if you couldn't format the destination disk. Unfortunately, I'm looking, and U17 is one that is, if you get read-write errors, and that's the 9334. Unfortunately, that one my chip tester can't test, but I may have spares of that one for some strange reason. I think I may have actually ordered 9334s for the Apple II clone. That number sounds really familiar. Would that have been the order in October? I'm looking at what I. Oh, that was not what I ordered in October. Oh, I may have. I ordered a grab bag of chips from Jamco. Maybe there was a 9334 in that. Should probably go grab the. Oh, yeah, those chips are right here. I'll still remove the 9334 and put it in a socket, but if I had one I could replace it with already on hand, that would make it so much easier, because that one's not a chip I can just test. Also, I did find my 556, 555 and 558s. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Ah. Or I'm going to find out that what I thought was a 9334 was just me remembering the date code on one of these chips. One of the oddly specific things my brain does sometimes. No, that's not a 9334 brain, but thanks for remembering that obscure detail. Um, see, is that I'm trying to remember what what type of chip a 9334 is. I know it's a buffer, but is it like a is it a TTL chip or is it a CMOS chip? Or because I ordered two assortments of chip from Jamco, and oh, hold on, the order loaded that had all the chips in it that I ordered for the clone computer. Oh, I have 20 pin sockets somewhere. That's why I didn't add them to the order. I probably just don't have them on my bench. All right, nope. Rudy says, "Have you checked the EEPROM?" No, I have not checked the EEPROM because I have no way of reading it. It is not an EEPROM that I can read with my reader because it is a one of the it's a B2708, and I do not have anything that can read a B2708 because that EEPROM requires a bias voltage. So I have no way of reading it to check it. I also not sure I have any I don't know what should be on it, so I can't write an EEPROM to just replace it and try that. So, and these chips are so disorganized. If I did have a 9334 in them, I would not find it in a reasonable amount of time. So, no, I haven't done anything with the EEPROM other than cover the window so that the internet doesn't break. Yeah, Will's saying good point, as I was thinking the same got erased or damaged. Well, it will read discs, but it will not write them. But I guess the EEPROM could still be to blame. David Starbucks says the only Mad Dog product I've tried is the old Mad Dog 2021. Rudy says that's where I would start. Well, if someone could find the image that's supposed to be on this EEPROM, then maybe I can burn it to a 2716 and whip up an adapter. But I have no way of reading this EEPROM because I do not have an adapter, and I really don't want to do anything to risk this chip because I would have to like bend pins and rig up some external power supply to give it -5 volts externally to even be able to read the chip. That also probably means I need to order some PCBs that will adapt a modern EEPROM to replace that. Because yes, that is one of my suspected chips, but I have no way of reading it, and I don't know what should be on it to even write a replacement EEPROM. It is a B. B as in Baker, or B as in boy, depending on which of the phonetic alphabets you're using. 2708. That is an AMD part number. It was made in 1980, week 34. And from the data sheet I pulled up on it, it is an older EEPROM. Francois saying just put it in the computer and read it. Yes, Sadmac has typed it correctly. B2708. Francois, I can put it in the computer, but I don't know how you read out the EEPROM from the computer because one of the parts of this EEPROM is not used by the computer. It's actually used by the disk controller for the state machine, and I don't think you can read it from the computer because it's used by the logic chips. So, also, I don't think I could just jam it in the socket. The monitor should be able to dump it. Well, it could dump the part that the computer can see. I don't think it can dump the part that the computer can't see. Yeah, part of this is the state machine. I can't actually read that out. Part of it is the boot code. I could read that out, but I can't read out the state machine part of it because that's not mapped to the slot. It's used by the logic chips. And to answer Adam's earlier question, I think the reason why there's 18 chips to replace Apple's like 8-chip disk controller is because a bunch of these chips I think are being used to map the state machine into the using one EEPROM instead of two. So yeah, it's tricky. So that's why I was kind of going towards the approach of removing the logic chips and testing them. But it's bugging me that this 9334 is possibly the problem as well. Only, honestly. Okay, the one good thing about this card is the solder is actually cooperating. I've so far been able to remove all of the ICs very easily with very little mess and fuss, but Rudy says, once my Apple II riser and signal monitoring board is done, I'll have to send you one. You can then use your oscilloscope on the card while plugged in. Yes. Hopefully by then I will have actually moved my oscilloscope to its new home. Especially when I get a logic analyzer. I will definitely need to finish freeing up the space for the new home for the oscilloscope because the logic analyzer will go right beside it. Where am I moving my oscilloscope to? Well, normally it has been sitting to my right. Not that I could show you where it is right without moving a camera and showing you piles of junk. But I am going to move it so that it is to my left, where it will be easier to reach the cables from the faceplate to my working area here. So I'm going to move it to the left. I just have to clear off the table to my left to put it there. So right now my oscilloscope's not even on my bench. I moved it to the side so I could like shuffle things around. And I'm failing at that for reasons. Cheap PC challenge video. I'm actually working on a video right now that's taking longer to edit because it's going to be a longer video than I first imagined. And then maybe I'll clean my workbench off so I can put the oscilloscope back on it. Having a logic analyzer will help incentivize clearing it off because there's lots of things I can probably test with a logic analyzer. Francois says, I have an AMD flash product selection guide somewhere, must be at mom's. Yeah, that would be good if I could, if someone could find out that this really isn't a weird, obscure EEPROM. But I think I found the correct pinout for it, and it clearly had a negative 5-volt input. So, alright, it is now bugging me. I thought somewhere I had some 9334s. I did not order them from Jamco. Did Sorcerer Stan send me some? Hold please, let me go. Sorcerer Stan might let me go. Actually, it just dawned on me. I may actually have. Give me a moment while I look in my scrap parts bin. I may actually have a board that's got a 9334 on it. The trick will be it doesn't have a dipped version of the 9334 on it. All right. Oh, Jack68K. Okay, Rudy's asking, does anyone know the symptoms of the card? All right. The symptoms of the card are as follows. It will boot the computer. It will read disks. It will not write to disks. It will not format disks. It will detect the correct write protect status. It is not reading the correct spindle speed. However, that actually could be the fact that it's not a genuine Apple disk controller. I think Adam said sometimes the clones will not work correctly. So, Scarlett says, is there an over-under on the number of times Justin walks off-camera hunting for parts during a live stream? I don't know. Anyways, it dawned on me that in my scrap parts bin, I had a bunch of Apple disc controllers that had the ribbon cable just ripped off of them, which they're worthless at that point. It's not worth trying to put another cable on them. But they've got 9334s on them. Although I think it's SN74LS. Well, Apple used a 74LS something or other, but I think it's the same. I think it's the same part effectively. Trying to use my camcorder to read 74LS. $598. Yeah, $598. Which actually, I bet I've got those somewhere. All right. Oh, yep. That is a 8-bit shift register with output latch. Yep, which is the same thing as a 9334. Which I'm going to double check. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure those should be the same chip. 8-bit addressable latch. See, pins A0, A12. Actually, that does not seem like that's the same chip. That does not look right. All right, I'm trying to compare the data sheets real quick for 74LS. Oh. Ah. Because that's not the correct data sheet I was looking at. That would be why it didn't look right. That's not the right data sheet either, is it? Oh, please, I'm getting confused. I bet I didn't read the number right because... Oh. Hold on, it might actually be right. Okay. I don't know why those look different. Maybe someone could confirm. All right, let me see. Double check the part number on this chip. The legend on the board says it's a... Oh! That's what I get for trying to read it on a camcorder screen. Or it's a 74LS259. No wonder the data sheet didn't look like a match. 74LS259. I bet that's going to match a 8-bit addressable latch. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's 9334. ABC Q0123 ground. Okay. Q4567 D enable clear. Oh, yeah. Okay. Those are the same. All right. Sanity check complete. Those are the same chip. All right. I have a path to trying to replace this 9334. Rudy's asking, is there a 74LS05 on the clone chip? Yes. There is, and I've already removed it and tested it in my chip tester, and it said it was good. That's not to say is it good, but it did test good in my chip tester. Now, could I try replacing it with another chip? Certainly could. And, well, I've got some on these cards I could pull off and try. I can also see if I've got one that's not soldered to anything. I could try swapping that. Hold on, let me see if I... Alright, let me... Okay, I did not order one from Jamco. Alright, let me see if Apple happened to... Oh, okay, that's not going to have happened. I was about to say, let me see if Apple happened to socket that chip on any of these cards, but no. I think by the time these disc controllers were made, pretty much the only thing that got socketed were the two proms and the 74LS323. I don't think... Alright, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Sound is back. Okay. OBS. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. Okay, good. I do not like this OBS version 30. It, like, randomly drops my audio stream. I really need to write up a bug. Okay. Hopefully Rudy will let me know what he would what he would have me test. And yeah, there is a 74 LS05. I'm trying to see if I happen to have one, because if I have one, I'll try swapping it, even though it tested fine. But The problem is I don't know if I've got one. Well, actually, I have a whole stack of them, but Apple bent the legs, so I was hoping to maybe see if I have one that's not soldered in, because then it would be a quick swap, potentially. So, all right, let me double check I don't have one stuck on the foam here. Although I think all those are memory chips. Oh yeah, those I think are all the original memory chips from the clone. And some cache chips from a PC board. Alright, let me see if I got an LSO5. Otherwise, I guess I'll desolder one from a couple chips from these Apple controllers. Alright, I don't think I got one. Alright, let's pull some parts off of these disc controllers that someone destroyed. I guess I want this chip and this chip. Oh. Well, actually, I might. Well, that's kind of weird the way they bent the legs. Oh, there we go. All right, it's moo time. Okay. Unlike the clone disc controller, which somehow, despite the fact that it is a clone controller, has good solder on it still, and I was able to very easily desolder it. Apparently, Apple used cheap solder, and I'm going to have to add solder before I can remove it. So, in this case, I don't really care about the card because it's not economical to fix that. But I do need the chip to have its legs, so I can't just like clip the legs off. If I were trying to fix the card, then I could remove the chip. And there are ways I could remove the chip to save the card, but in this case, I don't care about the card as much as the chip. Also, I have I think I pulled like 6 out of the box, but I think I got another 6 in the box that are in the same condition of someone ripped the disc cable off the card for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they thought they were destroying the data by ripping the connector out with the instead of unplugging the drive, because we got to destroy the drive because it's got data on it. I don't know. Or maybe someone recycled the cables because they had copper in them. Jack says, oh, night, Francois. Uh, Jack says it's almost as if Apple didn't want someone desoldering chips from this board 45 years later. Yeah. It's almost as if Apple didn't want anyone to do anything to this card ever. Except, of course, give you the ability to change the 74LS323 and the proms. Of course, maybe that's because maybe those parts were in shortages or something. Of course, that's ironic though, because yeah, it only has 3 of the chips socketed. Although maybe I should go look in the parts bin and see if any of these Apple cards actually had everything socketed. Because all the ones I grabbed out first have only these 3 chips socketed. Alright, let me go check the others. It didn't dawn on me that Apple socketed what chips usually. I mean, seriously. You know, to do this, I gotta revisit all the Trident cards I've ever thrown in this bin. That's weird. Oh, weird. Those chips are good. Huh. Alright. Apparently there were some capacitors at the bottom of my scrap board bin. I should have better checked to make sure the bin was actually empty before I started throwing junk boards in it. Yep, not socketed. Not socketed. Not socketed. Not socketed. Not socketed. Not socketed, and not socketed. Apparently, I have all the scrap disc 2 cards that have no sockets, so... Granted, they're in my scrap board bin because I'll pull all the chips off of them at some point. Like this. But actually, with these Apple II cards out of the scrap boards bin, half of the boards in the bin are Trident cards now. Actually, maybe over half. Although I did pull one out that's got some EDO chips on it, I might be able to use on another computer. Well, I think I know what I might be doing on Dave's stream. I might be pulling chips off these Apple II disc cards. Yeah, Jesse says the bean counters got to their later cards. Indeed, they did. I mean, seriously, I would think that back in 1980, these sockets would have been about maybe 5 cents a piece in quantity. Maybe even cheaper than that. So 5, 10, 50. So they saved maybe 25 cents not putting sockets here? Yeah. And how much did they save by not putting a replaceable ribbon connector here? Bean counters. Yep. Well, yeah, as Jesse says, 25 cents on a million cards saves 250,000. Yep. Yeah, earlier cards had for the 2 ribbon cables. The later cards, though, would have had a DB25 for the back of the computer. Yeah, I mean, yep. Saved $250,000 on a million cards, but how much were they selling these cards for? I mean, but yeah. Yes, there probably was that mentality of, well, if the card goes bad, they're just going to buy another one, so no sockets unless we have to, like, install the chips later. Which, that may be why there's sockets here. These chips might have been the ones that were in lower supply, so they had to make cards, and then as the chips arrived, they'd finish assembly. Alright, so I have a 74 LS05 and a 74 LS 259, which actually, now that I know that that's a 259 is the same as a 9334, I'm going to see if my T48 can test it. Oh, apparently Microsoft wants my feedback. How likely are you to recommend this PC to others if asked? I'll give you my feedback later. Oh, it can support a 74 LS259. Excellent. All right. Let's test these 2 chips I removed. So here's the 259. That's the 90, same as the 9334. And it's testing fine. All right, and now let me test the 74 LS05. Which I gotta remember to... All right, and it tested fine. All right, so the 74 LS05 that was on this card, I'm gonna... Actually, let me go get the Apple IIe. I guess we'll try... Oh. Yeah. Well, Jesse, I've been using the streaming PC for, what, 2.5 years now? And, like, why is it just now asking me if I want to recommend a HP Z420 workstation to someone else? Because, yeah, I haven't managed to get the Z440 on the bench yet. That's, like, hopefully will be soon. All right, let me get a socket in place to this 9334 here. Because that way I can test it. Well, this 9334 has served me well, but something's failing on it. Like, the front USB is really finicky these days. Although, other than that, it seems to work great. But yeah, that's why I've got a Z440 to put in its place. I gotta swap my capture cards over, which... Actually, I've got the cable I need now. I might do that this weekend. Because I realized I had a cable that was too short to be able to use the Z440. Because I have to, like, plug some things into some different USB ports. Well, duh. It's a whole different computer. Wow. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that the solder on this clone card just, like, comes right out. I'm presuming that's a good thing, because that probably means that card was not stored in a place where the solder oxidized, so I'm presuming that's probably actually a good thing that it's just coming right out of the board. Oh, Jack, it's actually Moof. It's Cow Dog. That's why I named it Claris. Although, my audio filters might be mangling that little hint of the fact that it sounds more like a cow dog than a cow. Oh, that's right. Sloopy taught me a trick. To actually kind of rock the chips. side to side and then, like, inevitably accidentally scratch it. But, well, that last part's my enhancement on the trick. Doesn't feel like I've... Actually, it might actually be... Oh, yeah. There we go. Alright. I got it out, and... while I did put a scratch on the top of this chip, it's otherwise unscathed. So, let me set the software back to a 259, and let's give it a test. Well, it's actually testing normal, but 2, 4, 6, 8. So I need a 16-pin socket. Actually, I should have some of those. And then I guess I'll get the Apple IIe and we'll try this 74 LS05 and the 74 LS 259 I salvaged off of a Disc 2 controller. You know, that's kind of that would be ironic if I fix an illegal clone Disc 2 controller. Because I'm pretty sure if I did see what's on this EEPROM, it's probably a direct copy of Apple's code, at least for the state machine. An actual genuine Apple card saves the clone. That would be ironic. Because I'm sure back in the day, Apple had other opinions on these manufacturers. Well, the sockets look clear. Alright, maybe I gotta... Oh, there we go. Actually, there's like just enough solder still in that socket to hold the socket in place. I don't think I even need to bend any pins. Clone card is more rare than the Apple card, yeah. I'd kind of like to get it working again. I wish I could find schematics for it, then maybe we could actually look into why it takes 18 chips to do the function that Apple did in 8. I guess the Disc 2 controller has 8 chips on it, and the clone has 18. But unfortunately, the Franklin technical reference, even though the Franklin disk controller is like identical to this one, and although the Franklin technical reference has schematics for the Franklin computer, it does not have schematics for the disk controller in it. So I'll have to do some more digging to see if anyone's has the Franklin disk controller schematics. I've kind of been afraid to ask on the Facebook groups because there's like one of the Apple II Facebook groups that's like, you can ask questions about Apple IIs or any of the clones except Franklin, and I don't want anyone to like get mad at me for asking about this card because, well, it is like identical to the Franklin card, so even though it's a micro-SI, although maybe I'll just have to ask anyways, and well, if they have similar opinions to micro-SI as Franklin, well, I guess they'll not let me ask my question. But I wish I could find schematics for this card. Yeah, Rudy's, the clone doesn't have the PROM, so it's got to use logic chips. That's probably it. It's the logic chips required to replace the PROM with an EEPROM. Alright, so there we go. I got U17. So I would put the original chip back, but I don't have a good way of, like, I don't think I can insert and remove these chip slots in the computer. So what I'm going to do, assuming I can find my lead former, is I'm actually going to go ahead and put these two chips I pulled off the Disk 2 controller in the card. I kind of like to straighten these legs up a little bit first. Oh, I bet I put it in my... Adam says there's a 13/16 jumper. Well, interesting enough, Adam, according to the Franklin service manual, the jumper actually does something completely different. Although, honestly, I sure thought it was a 13 and 16 sector jumper, but the Franklin, at least on the Franklin computer, it seems to indicate that it's like switches between normal disk operation and diagnostic, like a diagnostic ROM for the disk controller, but that just seems really weird. It's like all the more reason why I'd like to read the EEPROM, but I'll need to... I don't have a way of reading a EEPROM that needs a bias voltage, so that mystery will just have to wait. Because what Franklin did and what micro-SI did could be two different things, and maybe Franklin put a diagnostic ROM in it, but maybe micro-SI actually made it 13 and 16 sector. That would be really nice and handy. And that's actually kind of the other reason I bought this, because I thought it might have built-in sector 13 and 16 sector functionality. I thought, well, maybe it's built in. I could just put a little toggle switch on the back of the computer or something. Stick a toggle switch on a cable at the back. All right, so these are the two chips I pulled off the Disk 2 controller. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and get my Apple IIe because it's functioning. Oh. Oh, there's one of the little EEPROMs that I apparently lost on my workbench while working on one of the Emerson computers. All right. Let me go get the Apple IIe. Adam says 13 sector use is pretty worthless. Yeah. Because I guess you can always use, what, Muffin or whatever the tool is. All right. I'd like to get the Garrett's Workshop memory card for this computer, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with what's in my Apple IIe these days. I guess a quick overview of what's in here for the interested. 1 MB card, my Street Electronics Alphabets card, which has the 5-pin serial connector like the Apple IIc, and then just the standard disk controller that came with the Apple IIe. So I'm going to pull that out. Well, actually, if I left that card in, maybe I'll leave that card in. Actually, I think I'll do it this way. I'll plug my Flappy Emu into the Apple IIe's disk controller, and I'll use that for booting. There we go. This is how I'll save a little wear on slot 6. I'll plug this clone card into slot 5 because I'll boot from the Flappy Emu on the original Disk 2 controller. Ah, cool, Adam. Adam sold one of his Platinum 2Es this week. Oh. Whoop. And apparently I crashed to the monitor for some reason. Probably because I didn't have... Oh. Because I didn't have a bootable disk inserted, probably. Alright, so it's, there we go. Just make sure everything's working. Alright, so we should have Apple IIe with 128K of memory. Excellent. Alright. Okay. So the Apple IIe is booting from the... Yeah, added on 2 Unidisc drives. The shipping box was huge. Yeah, I bet it was. Alright. So, I'm going to plug in the clone controller onto slot 5. It's got the 2 chips from the actual Apple II card. I've got my 2, Alps drives. So I'm going to plug the one on top on into this slot there. Luckily, there is a key on the cable and the socket, unlike Apple's card. Like Apple wanted you to plug them in upside down so they could sell you more disk controllers. All right. So, let's see, machine identification. All right, it does see disk 2 cards in both. All right, so let's do a disk drive test. Let me find the blank disk I was using. And that is going to be, oh, yes. Ah, that is going to be in the box of discs that I have. For those of you counting how many times I've gotten up from my bench to grab something, you all will be happy to know that in the video I'm editing, it will have at least one video clip of where I got up out of my chair to go do something And something happened while I was away from the workbench. Because I might be working on the 2023 year in review video. The Adam McG says a bad disk can cause some of these tests to fail. Well, I have 2 blank disks. And if both disks are bad, I even tried my floppy emu and it also didn't work. And I put the disk in the wrong drive, so... Whoop. Alright, let me reorder the order of these drives. There we go. Alright. Drive speed. Drive 5. Slot 5, drive 1. Alright. I'm actually not sure the disk is spinning at a constant speed. Because that kind of actually sounded weird. Alright, well, let's try a general operation test. Jack says, I just need to get one of those long reach grabber claw things. Well, I need a really long reach one. Adam says, last time I walked away from my bench during a stream, the power supply in my Lisa blew up. That must explain why you don't get up from your bench and just leave things that often. I'm going to try the other disk in that drive. This drive appears to be having problems. Alright, well, let me try the other drive. I'm not even going to try the disk speed on it. Appears to be having problems. I'm wondering if the problem could be on the analog board on these floppy drives and not the disk controller. But if it is the disk controller, I don't think it's the 9334 or the 74LS05, because I just tried one that... Yeah, contact my dealer. Yeah, exactly. Joe! Hey, Joe! Oh, wait. Oh, wait. My dealer on this disk controller and the floppy drives were eBay. Darn! Test the drives on an Apple card. I need an Apple card to do that. I can't connect these drives to any Apple card I have because I can't find my Disk 2 card that takes ribbon cables. SadMax says, if I walk away from a computer, either it stops doing whatever it was because it needed my input, or the computer went to sleep, or something interesting happens. Rudy asks, do you have a good working Apple drive? Yes, I have a good working Apple drive, but I cannot plug it into the clone controller card. Now, I can plug my floppy emu into this card, but it actually does the same exact thing. You can't write to it. In fact, actually, let me, whoop, How about let me not like turn the computer on when I really wanted to swap some things around. All right. So let me unplug this. Let me unplug drive 1. I'll plug the floppy emu cable in, although it doesn't really fit that great because the modern ribbon cable comes out on the wrong side of the connector. All right, let me grab the non-working disk 2 drive. That if I put one of those same disks in, I'm pretty sure I would be able to demonstrate that it will pass those tests on with the same disk that I was trying to use. All right. Let me grab Computer Inspector. All right, so I got Computer Inspector floppy disk. Adam made a new cable for his floppy emu that's not backwards. Yeah, I should probably do that. All right, just so that everyone can see, I still have 2 disk cards in here. All right, so I'm going to go to disk drive test. I am going to go to my floppy emu. So I have a blank disk. I've got a disk image on my floppy emu. So I'm going to do the drive speed, slot 5, drive 1. So this is the floppy emu, and I can confirm that the floppy emu is, well, it was blinking. Oh, it's telling me, please remove the write protect sticker from this diskette. That's right. If I use the floppy emu on this controller card, it sees all the images as write protected. Yeah, it should be a disk file. Yeah. So if I use the floppy emu, I can't write to it with this disk controller card at all. Whereas these other drives, at least the drive speed test will think it's working. I can't even write to the floppy emu at all. The image is like, how do you unlock the image? It's a .dsk file, Gutbomb. Uh, all the as far as I can tell, because I had the micro SD card in my computer last time I had this out, because I got accused of the image being write only. It is not read only on the file system. It's a .dsk image, and I can't write to it. So clearly, something is up with this disk controller, because the floppy emu should be the perfect emulation of a drive. If someone could tell me there's another way you write protect images on the floppy emu, I will try it. But the image is not write protected. I checked it on my computer last time. Oh, but let me demonstrate though. If I use the actual Apple II drive and these blank floppy disks, just so that there's any doubt that these disks are good. So this is one of the same disks I was trying to use in the clone drive. So, well, let me exit. Let me go back to drive speed. I'll use slot 6 drive 1. So this is my Apple II drive on the Apple II controller. Notice I'm getting a solid 300. General operation. Gutbomb's asking, is the locked attribute something that you can examine / change in cider press? A, I shouldn't have to use cider press, and B, I copied one of the blank disk images that they provide on the floppy emu. I have no idea why they would write protect the blank disk image. That makes no sense. Rudy likes the W drive better than the floppy emu. Well, I have a floppy emu. I don't have a W drive. So I got to use what I have. This disk is fine. It works fine in the Apple drive. It doesn't work in the clone drive. I bought the floppy emu because it was one device that also works with Mac. The W drive only works with Apple II, so can you even get the W drive anymore? This is the thing I don't like with these floppy emulator devices. They pop up all the time and they divide the hobby. Because people get to the, oh, well, this is better than that. Capom says, Big Mess of Wires does a lot of stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, if they would stop having a big mess of wires, then maybe they'd be able to make sense of some things. Boom, boom. Obviously joking there. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's probably why I didn't buy a W drive, because the W drive is like $80 to $100. And you got to plug in a card to use it with some computers. And if that's not correct, then, well, their website makes it seem like that's the case. Floppy Emu was like 130 and it works with Mac too. W Drive only appears to work with Apple II. So I was going to have to buy a Floppy Emu anyways. So, oh, the soft SP card is for booting hard drive images. Okay. Maybe I might get a W Drive someday. I'm sure it's a fine product, but can I check the Floppy Emu on a 2GS or something? Well, actually, Gut Bomb, I can do one better. Why don't I just check the Floppy Emu on the same computer? But this still doesn't. Even if this proves the image is write protected, that only solves a minor mystery, not the major one of what's wrong with this disk controller card. Also, I will submit a bug report to Big Mess of Wires if they, for some reason, weirdly write protected an image that should be a blank floppy image for using. Okay, I do not know why it jumps to monitor when I have this blank image inserted, but whatever. Okay, so I'm booting from the Floppy Emu. Okay, so I've booted Computer Inspector. Let me go back to the blank image I was trying to use. Blank for Computer Inspector. Okay, so disk drive test, drive speed, slot 6 drive 1. All right, it did not complain that it's write protected. However, the Floppy Emu is currently rotating at 617 revolutions per minute. I call shenanigans. It's rotating at 0 RPM. It's solid state. All right. So, obviously, other than the fact that the speed is completely bogus, it didn't complain about it being write protected. All right. General operation, slot 6 drive 1. Oh, this disk drive appears to be having problems. That's weird. But it's not complaining about it being write protected. Gutbomb says the atoms are rotating. Yeah. All right. Now I'm remembering I did have trouble with that test on the floppy emu, and I chalked it up to the it's doing something like really weird. All right, let me do this. So be sure caps lock is down. All right. So I got that blank disk installed. Good night, Rudy. All right. Let me see if I remember how you format a disk. Is it like init? No. And my audio might have just like gone out again. All right. I probably forgot something. All right. Oh, that's right. I was close. I was close. It's a knit. And it's actually formatting my virtual disk image. Oh, yeah. It's definitely writing the disk. Rudy says, by the way, try different diagnostic software. Oh, that's interesting. I just got an IO error from a floppy emu. Maybe it's my floppy emu having trouble? Maybe I need to check the firmware that's on it. Track 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's weird. Maybe it's the micro SD card. All right, so I'm watching the screen on the floppy emu while I try to format this virtual image, and it like starts counting up tracks, and I can see then where it's writing out the track, and then somewhere around track like 14 to 16, it's like it stops writing out the disk image, which almost tells me my micro SD card might be having trouble. Or possibly I need to update the firmware on it. I don't remember what version of firmware I have on it. Anyways, I'm thinking the floppy emu is probably fine. But then again, if the micro SD card is failing that's in it, or it can't keep up with writing, then maybe that's a problem. Hi, Will Jr. 880. Welcome. Well, I guess maybe I can't depend on the floppy emu on this computer because. All right, let me see if I can find my SD card reader so I can see what version of firmware is on here. Oh, wait. That's right. I think if I restart 221128. Oh, I think okay. I may need to update firmware on here. I think they fixed some bugs in. I think I remember seeing something on their blog. I got some old firmware on here. I got firmware from 2022 if I'm reading the version number right. Oh yeah, they've got newer firmware out. I should probably update it. Wow. All right, let me check the. Let's see here. I remember they announced some newer firmware recently. Oh, that's right. So back in December, they released an update. Stuff it file support, CD-ROM, and SCSI image support, which is neat. So basically, you can put a small stuff it file on the SD card, select that, and it'll basically on the fly turn it into a floppy disk image, which is pretty neat. The okay. Well, somehow I'm gonna get the new firmware on here. Uh, Actually, I remember last stream I was trying to find my little micro SD card reader that should be in my drawer, and oh yeah, now I'm remembering. It's not in the drawer where it should be. All right, hold a moment. I'm trying to find the card reader. Gutbomb sends me a little SD card reader, and of course I managed to lose it finally. Although it's probably not lost, it's just probably misplaced. Oh, I just found the ICs I was looking for earlier. The ones that Sorcerer Stan had sent me for the Apple II clone. Huh. I may have to see if any of these would actually replace the bad chip on it. Alright. Yeah, got bombs laughing. It's lost. Yeah, I blew it away apparently with my little ear thing. That I'm sure there's a segment of the internet that is probably totally jealous that I have a Ryobi tool that works totally fine. It's like, but that's not Makita or DeWalt or blah 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 blah. No, it's not, and I don't think they have a little air blower tool for their battery system. So, there, or maybe they do, but it blows air. All it does. You don't need a DeWalt for that. Buy what you have, or use what you have. I guess buy what you have. That'd be weird. Yeah, buy the tool you have from yourself. There you go. I don't know. Sometimes I come up with weird ideas late at night. All right. I don't know where my micro SD card reader. Oh, hey, Jeremy. Welcome. I'm looking for the micro SD card reader so I can attempt to update my floppy emu firmware, and well, apparently I have misplaced it. All right. Well, I guess I can. Thomas Armstrong says it's -8 here tonight. Wow. That sounds cold. Although I realize that's maybe not as cold as I think it is, but it's still what I would definitely consider cold, though. All right. I'm stumped. Probably need to update firmware on my floppy emu. Although that may not fix the problem I'm seeing where I can't even format a disk image on it. But it might. But I've misplaced the micro SD card reader. So. Oh, and the wind chill is -20°C. Wow. Okay, that's definitely cold. All right. Okay, I guess I'm probably going to have to go upstairs and get my other card reader. I'm not exactly sure where it is, so I don't know. Maybe instead I'll just. I really hate just removing chips from cards, but maybe at this point I might as well just socket the rest of the cards on this clone controller and test them. Oh, Jeremy says it's 13°C or 55 Fahrenheit here, and a hailstorm just passed. Oh yeah, it's gonna be rainy here tomorrow. Oh fun, oh joy. Um. Okay, I guess let me go upstairs. Let me see if I can quickly find the other SD card reader. If it's not on my desk, then I'm just going to go to socketing the rest of the chips in the clone controller card, because the only other thing I can think of is remove the rest of the chips and test what I can out of the card. So, all right, hopefully I'll be back momentarily with the SD card reader and maybe another micro SD card, just in case this micro SD card continues to give me trouble in the floppy emu. Hopefully, by preemptively restarting the camera, I have avoided the crackly audio syndrome. All right. My other micro SD card reader in hand. All right. Let me copy the latest firmware onto the card. Emu firmware. Apple 2. And I will put the other two updated firmwares on this card at some point. All right, but at least now I got the latest Apple 2 firmware on the micro SD card for the Flappy Emu, and I'll update real quick. I do know that I think they fixed some bugs, and maybe my inability to format is I'm running into one of the bugs. All right. Oop. All right. Excellent. Okay, I have the There we go. All right. All right. Okay. I'm into DOS. I'm booted with the new firmware here. Oh, Jeremy says the Mars hot temp is 2C here. Wow, that's going to be cold. Low of negative 7C. Ah, Jeremy's going to be moving. Well, oh, well, that's interesting. I have a write error on the Flappy Emu. Huh. Okay, the disk emulation mode set correctly. All right, I guess let me. All right, let me format this other micro SD card, copy my disk images to it, and or at least a disk image to it, and I suspect I've got a problem with my. Oh, all right. Manage. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Delete volume. All right, so let's see here. Format. I gotta format the micro SD card. Let's see. FAT default allocation says quick format. Oh, hold on. I gotta fix the micro SD card because apparently it was used in something that had it formatted really weird. All right. PC manage disk management. All right. Let's see here. New simple volume. 30 gigabytes. That's fine. Format FAT32. All right. There we go. That looks correct. Now, hopefully, Windows Disk Manager didn't do something weird like, I don't know, make it a GPT partition table, because I don't know how the Flappy Emu might like that. Apple, let's see. Wrong folder. Flappy Emu. Wrong one. My Flappy Emu images. All right. I am copying my images over as we speak to a new card. Ah, Jeremy's moving to a bigger place with less restrictions. Nice. Yeah, even though moving sucks, as Jack says. Yep, I agree with that, Jack. Jeremy says, at least I have a gutted school bus to move with. Yeah. A 32-foot bus is better than any U-Haul truck. Yep, indeed. There we go. Images are over. Now let me make a copy of this blank disk image. Blank DOS 33. All right, there we go. Got a new micro SD card created. All right, hopefully that will fix the problems writing from the Floppy Emu. I am noticing that I was using the one included with the Flappy Emu, which is a generic card, so maybe that's the problem I was having. Maybe the generic card is failing. Two stuff. All right. I'm just going to boot DOS 3.3 again, try to format it, and good night, Adam. All right. Let's see if this might fix it. All right. Checked. My computer inspector. There we go. Interesting. This is a SanDisk, or not a SanDisk, a Samsung micro SD card, and it's like it's like the card. If I'm looking at the display correctly, it's almost like the card couldn't keep up with writing. Kind of really weird. It's like the Flappy Emu is telling me that it saved the track and it's giving me a number like it's a time. And then once it gets into the tens of tracks, it like glitches. I don't know. Is it thinking it might be? I might have to reach out to Big Mess of Wires and ask about that behavior because that is weird that you can't. All right, I guess I can. All right, let me see if I can at least boot Computer Inspector and maybe it'll do its thing. Because maybe it's not going to try to. Maybe it won't try to format the disk. All right, disk drive test. All right, let me. Okay, it still does give that really weird drive speed. All right, let's see if it can actually use. Hmm. Okay, so apparently I don't know what to trust on this computer. So I can run Computer Inspector on a real floppy disk and on the genuine Apple II disk controller I have in my Apple IIe on an actual Apple II floppy drive, and that works. If I try to use the floppy emu, it doesn't work. That tells me there's something up with the floppy emu. But I also can't use these clone drives on the clone disk controller. So something's up with that too. But until I have a comparative reference, well, I guess I'm going to have to probably get an actual Disk 2 controller that takes ribbon cables. Because, yeah, Jack says, come on, disk drive test. What if I don't want just satisfactory results, but good results? So, if I have any other diagnostic programs. All right, obviously, I'm going to have to reach out to Big Mess of Wires and ask about the write behavior of the floppy emu, because, I mean, I should be able to run init hello and format a disk image without it, like, seemingly ceasing to write data to the micro SD card somewhere between tracks 10 and 20. Ah, Tom Armstrong's asking, does your Franklin computer work? Well, I would have to reach out to the person I sold it to ask if it still works, because I sold my Franklin Ace 1000 at VCF East. Otherwise, I would have already grabbed it to try these drives in because I know it was working when I sold it. And my Franklin 500s, well, Jeremy has the bulk of it because he's working on something for it. So, like, the only. And my clone computer is. Well, it didn't have a disk controller in it. So, even if it did work, the most I could do is put a disk this a disk 2 controller like the one that's in my Apple IIe in it. But yeah, I have like no Apple II computers that are working to compare against. Yeah, maybe I'm slightly regretting selling the Franklin Ace 1000, but I wanted one that wasn't so impractical because it had that huge floppy drive, built-in floppy drive thing, and that was just so impractical. It made it hard to store. I don't know. Yeah, Jeremy says that reminds me. I need to create a space to work on that and other projects. Yes, yes. So I'm like, yeah, I'm stumped. I it's like I don't have enough parts I can like. All right, I guess this is the thing. I don't have another Apple II computer that's working other than my Apple II GS, but that what does that get me? Jack says, "How do you feel about soldering ribbon cables?" Okay, let me think about this for a moment. So if I get the Apple II GS, I can use the floppy emu on it. I mean, I guess I could also boot ProDOS, maybe? Huh. Oh. Okay. Let me try one more thing here. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's DOS 3.3. Maybe let me try ProDOS. I mean, I know it formats things differently, but let me at least see if it'll format my floppy image. Oh, Jeremy's going up from 891 square feet to 1560 square feet. Ah, pretty nice. All right, format a disk. Um, oh, slot 6, drive 1. Format is ProDOS. Why not? Utilities. Okay. Um, yes. You can destroy that volume. All right. No, I can verify a disk. Weird. All right, so I can verify the disk in ProDOS. It is reading fine. No errors, but the moment I try to write to the floppy emu. It like randomly picks a track where it. All right. Huh. Oh, Jack 68K. Oh, um, Jack, I'm in Virginia, not Arkansas. If you were asking, oh wait, that's hold on. Oh. The comment for me was Wawa. Okay. Probably. Yes. Oh, there we go. If ProDOS doesn't work, I think testing the floppy emu on the 2GS is a good step to try. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so the only other thing I can do is I guess it's conceivable something happened to my Disk 2 card. Although it's working with the actual Disk 2 drive. So I'd be more inclined to think that something's up with my floppy emu. Honestly, if there's something up with my floppy emu, it's probably a firmware bug. Reading one of the Big Mess of Wires blog posts, I kind of realized that they are, yeah, I think they even admitted as much that they wishes their QA game was upped. All right, let me grab the Well, I guess there's one good thing I can do. If I got the 2GS on the bench. I can. Oh, that's. All right, so. Something. Oh, yeah. Hold on, there's something loose in this case. Let me double check what it is. Oh, there it is. One of the metal clips. All right. Fair enough. All right. So before I yes, it is 2GS time. But first, it's time to say Adieu, parting is such sweet sorrow to this fully loaded Apple memory upgrade card. And say hello, little upgrade. To this Garrett's Workshop 8 megabyte RAM card. Look at this. Wow, look at that. It blends right in. It's so small. It's the stealthy upgrade choice. But there's times when you also want more RAM and fewer chips to do it in. All right. Floppy Emu. Yeah, someone wrote a book on that power supply. Yeah. I need to, probably complete the impartial recapping job on it. And maybe, because it kind of squeals when you power it off. All right. I heard the little doont. Oh. Oh, okay. First of all, it helps when you have a valid boot disk in. Second of all, it helps when you have an ADB keyboard plugged in. Toto, I don't think we're using a computer with a built-in keyboard anymore. All right, which means I gotta remember what I did with the ADB keyboard. Oh, I see it. Yes. All right. Not there we go. Not complaining about the fact that you get to choose your own keyboard adventure for the 2GS. Oh, I didn't hear the little. Oh. Fatal system error 0911. That's weird. Wait a minute. Yeah, I know it's an Apple designed keyboard. All right. I think that fatal error happens for, well, be sure caps lock is down. Well, interestingly enough, I can't seem to press caps lock. All right. So I'm formatting the disk though. Same disk image. And it just did the same thing it was doing in the Apple IIe. Ah, Martin's still awake. Doesn't like your RAM. Is it in backwards? No, the RAM is incorrect because it's got something on it that says towards rear, and it's pointing towards the rear. No, I think system that fatal error 09 that 911 error, I think has something to do with ADB. Huh. All I had to do was start typing Apple 2GS fatal, and DuckDuckGo matched Apple 2GS fatal system error 0911, which is a bad sign that it was able to autocomplete the entire error from my small choice of words. And wow, there's like the top three choices are okay. Fatal system error 0911 and self diagnostic test 09010001 mean the same thing. You are very likely experiencing one of the following malfunctions. And the first one is temperature sensitive ADB IC. Great. Your 2GS is a true ROM 01 or ROM 3. You're unlikely to have it. Otherwise, you're running a ROM 0 Mac, which has been upgraded to ROM 1. This is the first time you've noticed the problem. It's likely this is the first summer you've owned and used. Well, that doesn't make sense. It's winter. It's cold in my basement. Oh. Rooms are normally cooler during summer. It's when the error pops up. Ah. Well, I guess I have a temperature sensitive ADB chip on this board because it's cold. Great. No 100% fix except to replace the temperature sensitive ADB-SE. And there's two different chips it could be. Put a light bulb on it. That's not a sustainable fix. Could also be a defective keyboard, loose connector, or a bad keyboard cable. Well, that could be possible. Oh, could be bad voltages. Well, poorly socketed expansion memory card. Give it a small campfire. That. Well, I mean, if the system's powered up, I probably have solved it. There's not really anything I can do now. Yeah, it looks like the consensus is that's keyboard. Probably bad voltages from the power supply. I probably should finish the recap that Gutbomb started on it. Gutbomb says it's yelling at you for using a bad Apple design keyboard. I know the Apple design keyboard's awful, but it's what I have, folks. I have an Apple extended keyboard too, but it's broken and I'm not sure how to fix it. All right, I can't format the disk from the Apple 2GS either. So oh, well, why doesn't Control Open Apple restart the 2GS? Fine. Fine, you win. Power switches work just as well. Yeah, there might be something wrong with my floppy emu, which I'll probably contact Big Mess of Wires because it's quite honestly. I mean, it could be firmware too. Yeah, can't run the computer inspector test. Maybe I can run the RAM memory test though. Okay, this may take a little bit. Jeremy says, I have lots of keyboards and mice to repair since my wife's puppy got a hold of the cords and decided they were good to chew up. Ouch. uh, Martin says, has put Joe's little song in the chat. Hit it with a hammer, hit it with a hammer, hit it with a hammer, and hit it with a hammer. Jeremy says it's hammer time. I'm going to do my best Steve impression. Oh, you better work! That wasn't a very good Steve impression. Also, I don't have the right hammer. At least the memory test seems to be working. Alright, so, well. So, what have I learned tonight? I have learned that I was more successful opening packages than I was repairing the clone disk controller card. So, yeah, there we go. That's the short version. The slightly longer version is the clone disk controller card is possibly still broken, but I have not been able to find anything that works to independently corroborate the failed results. I am going to either need to get a hold of an actual Apple II disk controller card that I can somehow confirm works. May mean I need to get a hold of an actual Apple Disk 2 floppy drive for it. Or at least figure out what's wrong with my floppy emu, which is going to cause problems. And Jeremy says, I keep a persuader near my workbench. I guess maybe I'm going to have to get a W drive or something. Maybe if someone's got a cheaper option than a W drive that works well, then I might be more inclined to get something sooner. I need a... Tom Armstrong says, I need a Taser to scare a computer. Ah, okay, that makes more sense. I've got this video cable that's in front of my monitor. I thought you were saying I need a taser to score a computer, and I was going to reply, but I'm not Dave. Great, Trina's rubbing off on me. um, Jeremy says 12-pound steel on one end, 3-foot wooden handle. I've got those GoTech board. Well, that is true. I do have those GoTech boards. But that would require me, at the moment, that would require me to buy a license for HXC firmware, which is like 20 pounds or something, or is it 20 euros or 20 Deutschmarks or I don't know, 20 currencies that don't have a dollar sign in front of it. All right, let me go look it up because it might not be a full $20 either. This website's in French. I can't read it. This doesn't look like the right website. I sure thought it was. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. It was a subpage on their website. So now that I am on the subpage is in English. I can actually read it. Okay. There we go. There's their web store. There's the floppy emulators, blah, 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 blah. Ah, there we go. Firmware license for GoTech. Oh, it's 10 euros. Why was I thinking 20? Okay, something else I was looking at must have been 20. Okay, it's 10 euros to get the firmware license I would need to put on it. So, Tom Armstrong said these sometimes work. Pseudo disk 2 controller card. I mean, I guess I could, I think I've got enough components to put these boards together, at least throw something together real quick. It's going to be the 34 pin female connector that goes on the GoTech that's going to be the issue. I don't know if I've got that style pins, but I might be able to dig something up. Well, I don't know. Maybe I might be able to, if I can find the connector, that connector or something that'll work. I don't want to like solder this to a GoTech not knowing it'll work. I'm willing to spend 10 euros for a firmware license, but I'm not willing to solder one of these to my GoTech not knowing it'll work. Because I could always probably use that firmware on something else, but I don't want to desolder pins on a GoTech. So if I can find a connector, I'll put one of those together. But the thing is, I need to confirm it works. But yeah, something's up with my floppy emu. I'm pretty sure my disk controllers on the Apple IIgs and my Apple IIe are fine because the one on the Apple IIe works with an actual disk 2 drive. So, I mean, it's running all the tests fine. I think that controller is working. I suspect my Apple IIgs is also working. I could really quick plug in the disk 2 and confirm, but I'm not going to do that tonight. So I think I have two Apple II computers with working disk controllers, which would probably point to the fact that something's up with my floppy emu. But that still doesn't help me with the clone disk controller. But if I can sort what's wrong with the floppy emu, I'll reach out to Big Mess of Wires. I'll contact them because maybe there's a firmware bug. Or maybe they'll tell me that, yeah, it sounds like you did something and destroyed your microcontroller, but I don't think I've plugged it in backwards, so not sure what. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I guess it's good that my oh, cool. Adam just said that he will send me a selection of items that might help. Excellent. Thank you, Adam. That is most kind of you. Gutbomb says the 2GS disc controller is fine. So it looks like it's probably my floppy emu that is probably what's not behaving correctly, and I'm half expecting if I plug it into a Mac, it's probably also not going to work right. You know, now that I think about it, maybe it's never worked right, because I don't know that I've been able to format disks on the Mac with it, but not that I've tried much. Yeah, Jack says, if anyone has a selection of items that might help, it's Adam. Excellent. All right. Well, it looks like Adam's going to send me a selection of items that might help. So it looks like, for now, I'm going to set the Apple II stuff aside. So Tuesday, only because I'd like to be able to reach out to Dasher Deals if there is something wrong with this board sooner rather than later. But I'm going to look at this cool 386 board or 486 board. It's got an identity crisis because it can take both. So we'll take a look at this on Tuesday. Only because I want to be able to return it before the return period's up. So I don't know. Maybe next Thursday. We'll see. We'll see when I might get things. But anyways, yes, I think with that, on that disappointing note, it's probably time to draw this stream to an end. Because, yeah, it's Tom Armstrong says it's from apples to oranges. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyways, thanks again to Jesse for the hard drive and the zip drive. And then thanks in advance to Adam for the selection of items that'll help. But yeah, sometimes you try to fix it and just doesn't quite work. So anyways, smash that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications. Oh yeah, that's right. I'd like to thank everyone that contributed towards my logic analyzer goal. I'm sure if I try to name names without looking at my cheat sheet, I will forget. But we had yep. All right. So that I don't forget anyone's name because I would feel really bad. Let me look at the if my there we go. Got to click refresh here and then wait for the page to refresh. Yeah, Jack says computers wouldn't be any fun if they just worked right. Yeah, you're right, Jack. It would mean I wouldn't be able to give you twice weekly entertainment if they just worked, because I would run out of things way too quickly each time. So I guess in one sense, the non-working stuff lets me live stream more because I get to try to fix it. All right. I do not know why. Okay. We'll go to a different way of making sure I name everyone. We had, yes, Jason Starbuck. Thank you. We had Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Thank you, Dave, again. And we had, yep, K-Mac Vintage. Thank you, Will. And I'm trying to decipher from emails where the name's not. And I think we had Martin Mack. And unfortunately, I'm waiting for the coffee page to refresh on my phone. And some. Okay, the one thing I don't necessarily like about how coffee sends messages out, and I think it partially depends on how you send it and if you're logged into coffee or not. But I'm looking at my emails right now. It doesn't necessarily tell me who in the email. Sometimes it's in the email, sometimes it's on their page. So if I missed your name, it's because I'm waiting for the coffee page to reload because some of your names are there and not in my email. So there we go. Yes, we had Dave. Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. We had David Starbuck. We had Jack68K. Thank you, Jack. Martin Mac. Thank you, Martin. And K Mac Vintage. Thank you, Will. I believe that's everybody. If I missed you, it's not intentional. It's because I'm trying to look at three different sources to list names. It's not intentional. But anyways, yes, thank you all. I've met my goal for the logic analyzer. I am going to message that Facebook Marketplace seller in the morning. I'm not going to do it now because they're in my time zone and they might not be thrilled with me sending them a message at midnight. I will reach out to them in the morning, see if it's available. If not, well, I'll wait till the next one shows up. But anyways, yeah, Dave. We had David Starbuck and Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. So yes, which added to the confusion. There's two Daves. So yes, thank you all. Yeah, hopefully that analyzer is still available, and well, even if I can't get them to budge on price, I think the price they want for it's fair. But I'm gonna try to haggle down just a little bit because I do have to drive over to Richmond and back. So would be nice to get a little bit off the price. After all, they've had it listed for like at least 6 weeks and it hasn't sold. So I think I could probably get them to budge a little bit on price. So anyways, yes. So anyways, yeah, it'd be nice to have an HP logic analyzer. I don't know that it would help debug the floppy drive issue, but I do have some other things that I think a logic analyzer would have helped at least gotten to a root cause quicker. And besides, like that 286 motherboard I've tried, and it's actually like sitting to the side, the one that has no video output or no correct video output. That might be the first thing I try the logic analyzer on, because that'd be really cool to see what it's doing and be able to see multiple signals all at once. And that's because I've seen Shelby at Tech Tangents. He's got a HP logic analyzer and he uses it for things. I think it'd be really cool to have one to be able to see what happens across multiple signals. Because at some point, I would, especially as I can get my video production queue unclogged, I would like to do more videos, like how-to videos and like videos to explain things. And that's the other reason I'd like the logic analyzers, because I can hook it up to multiple signals and show you what is happening on those signals, because you'll be able to see them all at the same time. Yes, you can do that on an oscilloscope, but with a logic analyzer, you get a lot of signals at once, whereas your oscilloscope, you have 2 or 4 channels. Okay, some of the newer oscilloscopes have like more, like it has digital inputs that can do that for some signals, but usually they cap out at like 8 or 16. Whereas I think the logic analyzer, the one on Facebook Marketplace, I looked it up. I think it can have up to 80 signals at once. Now, granted, the more signals you have, like the shorter of a time you can capture, and like the lower the frequency is. But even if I was reading the data sheet right, if I had all 80 signals, it would like limit me to 35 megahertz for one of the types of analyzation. Because you can both do like, I think, like logic level tracing, but you can also do like timing measurements. And depending on if you're doing logic level or timing, that determines how many signals you can watch and how fast they can be and the number you can have. But anyway, yeah. Now, granted, this is an older HP logic analyzer, but actually that's totally fine, because I wouldn't be able to afford a new one. A, I think it'd be Agilent. B, I wouldn't be able to afford it if it was new. But anyways, this one is like really cool because I think it's like one from like the 90s. So it has like a 9-inch CRT, and from what I saw in the picture, the CRT looks great. So, but yeah, like I think it supports up to 80 signals, and it's like 35 megahertz or 100 megahertz. It depends on what you're doing. And I think enough samples. But anyways, it'll get me started. Yeah, and Martin says sometimes it's better having the older equipment. I mean, I don't need something new. And in fact, actually, the older equipment's nice. It's simpler, and in fact, a lot of times the older equipment, the service manuals are out there. So if something were to go wrong, you can usually get the service manuals and fix it. So yeah, it's kind of why I like my old oscilloscope. The service manuals are out there. I mean, granted, it's like just new enough that there's a lot of like surface mount stuff, but the service manuals are out there. It is fixable somewhat, and it's a cool oscilloscope, even if it is really big and I need to move where it is so I can practically use it. But anyways, yeah, I'll reach out to the Facebook Marketplace seller in the morning. Hopefully, it's still available, and I'll be able to pick it up Saturday. So actually, if that does happen, maybe Thursday we'll be looking at the logic analyzer to see exactly what I have. So yeah, that'd be cool. So if it works out and it's still available and I've got it in hand, then maybe Thursday's live stream will be, we're just gonna look at the logic analyzer and see what it can do. So yeah, I hope I get it. I'll reach out to them in the morning and make an offer, and hopefully it works out and they'll still have it. We can come to price and pick a time on Saturday and go get it, because I do have to work tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to get out of that. So, anyways, thank you all for helping towards the goal. I'm hoping I can get a cool toy and it will be beneficial for the channel. And also, as a reminder, go watch Tech Ambrosia's video. She did a great job on the Cheap PC Challenge. I wish the YouTube algorithm wasn't as harsh, but still there were, I think, 12 builds from 10 participants. So go watch that video. I didn't want to spoil it for you, even though I had reasons to spoil it potentially, but I didn't want to spoil it for you. Go watch the video. I think you'll enjoy it. All the builds were great, and I'm hoping Tech Ambrosia can kind of sort out some of the rules things, which you'll get an impression of it as you watch the video, so that the Cheap Pizza Challenge this year will be even more competitive. So yeah, I probably won't be able to depend on those sweet bonus points for unspent money this year. Anyways, um, but yeah, I will probably have a follow-up video. Yep, thank you, Jack, for reposting that video. Yeah, I'll have a follow-up video, I think, on the last closing. No, wait a minute. I got other stuff in the box. I was about to go say, no, I'll go grab my what if board, but I realized there's other stuff in the box too. So, anyways, I will have another video upcoming soon because I want to see how the board that didn't arrive in time might have done if I had gotten it in time for the competition. Because then I might actually be considering doing something really crazy. And that might be that I've thought about what to do with my cheap PC challenge build. And I'm kind of thinking of giving away the video card. So stay tuned for that. Jeremy says, would it count if I've owned a PC for years? Actually, I think Tech Ambrosia has been toying with the idea, potentially, or at least Ron has been suggesting to Tech Ambrosia, of having an open category where anything goes. So that you could, like, whatever, if it's something you've had, or at least, like, something someone just gave you. So you might check out that challenge. There may actually be a category, at least if Ron's successful, of maybe another category for the you were just given something and you like did it with entirely given parts. Um so anyways, yeah, Jeremy says I have one that I paid $48 for. So anyways, hopefully I do plan on trying to compete. So well, actually, I would save it for this year's build, Martin, if it weren't for the fact that I actually bought the board last year. So even though it arrived this year, I bought it last year. So that's why I'm just going to do the video on, okay, if I'd gotten this board in time, how would it have done? Because it won't count for this year's competition. I bought it last year. So, yeah, and that's the good thing. I think Tech Ambrosia is going to do the competition from like May to or March to September or something like that, and not like June to December. So, anyways, yeah, I think that it'll happen at some point in the year. And I think she was actually kind of thinking of like also to keep from like getting all the videos at the last minute. I think one thing she mentioned was she was thinking of doing like a grace period for like you'd probably the deadline would be when you had to like the build had to be done, but a grace period for actually getting the video up so that like there wasn't this like everyone submitting videos at the last minute. Um yeah, Jeremy. Yeah. I'll take care packages. I'll open them up on a live stream. Cuz yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was kind of going to mention at some point. You might have noticed I do have like in my backlog of videos a channel surprise or two video to get out. But actually as of recently I've just been if you send me something I'm opening it on a live stream just because until I can get my production schedule such that I could get videos out in a more timely manner, I'm just going to open things on live streams instead of trying to save them for a channel surprise episode. So if you sent me something that didn't make it to a live stream because I intended to put it in a channel surprise video, I will get those videos out as soon as I can. But if you send me something like now, it will just get opened on the next live stream that I have or the live stream after it. It depends on what it is. If it's like, unless we like when you're sending it to me, we arrange that like it's going to be for a special live stream, or like you're sending me something for a video I'm making, and I put it the reveal in that video. I'm just going to do it on a live stream because it's easier. So that's why I opened Jesse's box on this live stream. It's just easier. So anyways, for the foreseeable future, if you send me a channel surprise, I'm just opening it on a live stream within the next, probably the live stream after I receive it, or the one after that. So it just depends on how many boxes I have. That way I at least spread out the joy. If I get multiple packages in the same week, I don't feel like I spend half the live stream opening things. I also need to get a drink of water. I'm getting thirsty. Anyways, all right. I think I've babbled on enough. So, yep, Apple IIs will come back. But anyways, let's see here. Oh, Jeremy's suggestion: seek out a VGA header for a PC chips AT board. And other attachments. Okay, I'll keep my eye out for one. I might actually have seen one on eBay, the place where I buy things I later regret. But headers are usually fun. Usually. Except where PC chips is involved, the pinout could be weird because PC Chips, the company that had to cover up the chipset with labels of manufacturers that did not make chipsets, like Toshiba. Yeah, PC Chips had Toshiba chipsets. Did you know Toshiba made chipsets for motherboards that weren't in Toshiba computers? Well, I didn't, but apparently PC Chips did. Jack says regret, regret, regret. Yeah. I honestly, I need to somehow get some things in OBS Studio so that when I open eBay stuff or work on an eBay thing, I need to get a regretometer to be able to show on the screen. Wearing a regret shirt could be your channel brand. Yeah, yeah, I need to get some shirts up too, which means I need to draw some. Jeremy says PC chips equals pieces of, and this is a family friendly show, even though I don't intend my videos for children. Let's just say that if they're in earshot, I like to keep it clean because you never know what they overhear. But yes, Jeremy, most PC chips things, that's about on point. Yeah, we need a regret t-shirt order. Yes. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of a couple designs, but I think maybe the first one I need to do is just the word regret in the eBay logo colors. I mean, you saw the thumbnail for my cheap PC challenge video, much in that style, because then, I mean, people are going to know. Yes, RetroMac. Yes, Martin. I hope to keep it that way, but I will say that it is entirely possible if I really hurt myself on stream, which I try not to do, I would apologize in advance. But yes. Let's just say though, I have managed to smack my thumb in weird ways, and you didn't know it unless you kind of noticed I do this number. Yeah. Yeah, yes. I need to make sure the place I've selected for doing on-demand printing can print on the front and the back. So, but yes. Anyways, all right, it is getting late. I do have to work tomorrow. That um anyways, let's see here. What am I doing? Oh yes, I'm babbling on and I need to end the stream. But anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Um Thanks again for the towards going for the contributions towards the logic analyzer. You still wanted to kind of chip in for gas. Well, of course, the you can. The coffee link still works even if the goal's exceeded. But otherwise, I'm good to go and contact the Facebook Marketplace seller in the morning, and hopefully that'll work out. And anyways, yeah, have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you here next time. A cap t-shirt. Yes. Yes. I'll do it. That'll be one of them. I got the photo. That'll be one of them. Anyways, take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.